Hi, I'm Jadine with the Bioclear Learning Center, and today I'm going to be showing you how to rubber dam. Now let's go over the materials you're going to need. In our office, we use the Heady dental dams. This is in size 6x6, and they're the heavy dams. All of our rubber dams we have pre-stamped and ready to go using our Bioclear rubber dam stamp. Next thing, you're going to want to have a hole punch, either a 5 or 6 hole punch works. For clamps, in the Bioclear clinic, we use the Hue 480 24 and 25 clamps. These clamps have a longer side on the buckle and a shorter side on the lingual. And then the last thing you're going to need is your blue TruContact Saw. So the first thing we're going to do is hole punch our rubber dam. Typically, we rubber dam a whole quadrant at a time, and we clamp the most terminal tooth. So today we're going to be clamping tooth number 2. So I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm going to put it on the largest setting, and this will be for the clamp tooth. So we'll take our dam, go to tooth number 2, and stamp it. Now we will move down one size for any other molars, so in this case tooth number 3, and we will stamp that one. Then go down one more size for the bicuspids, and then also for the canine, the lateral, and the central. If you're working on anterior black triangle teeth, we recommend sizing down 1 or 2 hole punch sizes to accommodate for the smaller rib. So in this case, since I'm working on anterior upper arch, I would recommend going to the second smallest hole punch size. If I was working on a lower arch, the central and lateral incisors, I would recommend going to the smallest hole punch size. When hole punching the black triangle teeth, still follow the same guide that's pre-made for you on your rubber dam stamp. You don't have to move the spacing. So now if you'd like, you can take a wet 2x2 and wipe the ink off of your dam. So now we are going to take our clamp. Since we're working on the right side of the mouth, this is clamp number 24, and we are going to put it underneath our dam and go to that last hole and put the bow of the clamp through the biggest stamped hole. The bow of the clamp should be faced towards the distal. The wings of the clamp should be underneath, facing towards the midline. At this point, if you like to ligate your clamp with floss, you can do that. Now we're going to go back to our patient, and we're going to take the blue TruContact Saw and run it through each contact that we're going to be putting our rubber dam through. Doing this will help loosen up any debris or tartar that's in between the teeth. It'll let us know which contacts are going to be tight and which ones are going to be loose. And it will make sure that the dam will glide easily between them. So now we're ready to rubber dam our patient. We're going to take the rubber dam, put the slack in your left hand, put the forceps in the wings of the clamp, and go ahead and clamp the most terminal tooth. Before taking the forceps out of the holes, make sure your patient is comfortable and that the clamp is not pinching anywhere on their gums, because it's kind of hard to find your way back in once you take the forcep out. So if our patient's comfortable, we can go ahead and remove the forcep and then give a little wiggle down for the clamp to make sure it's seated all the way. Okay, now if you'd like to use a rubber dam napkin, you can slide that on now, and then we'll put our frame on. So flip the dam over, loosely put on the frame at this point so the dam doesn't come off of the clamp. And then we're going to take a blunt instrument. The Clark paddle works really good for this. And we are going to expose the wings of our clamp. At this point, now that the dam is underneath the clamp, you can pull the dam a lot tighter on the frame. Now we are ready to floss our rubber dam. It's usually easiest to start by pulling the dam around the midline. So we'll stretch the dam around that number 8, and then we can begin flossing. It's important while flossing to make sure that the floss is against the tooth and not on top of the dam. We want it to be tooth, floss, and then dam. We'll push down once, fold our floss over, and push down again. Then we can pull it out the side. Then we can line up our next tooth And we will floss the next contact saw down, fold over the floss, and pull it out the side. And what I mean by not flossing on top of the dam is if I was to take this floss right here and I'm pushed down right on top of the dam itself, it could tear the dam. So instead, I'm going to use the floss, push it against the tooth on the side of the dam, and push the dam into the contact. This will make sure the dam goes down without any tears. So just continue to floss each contact. It helps if things are really dry, so if it's slipping around, go ahead and take some suction and your triplex and just blow air to make sure it's all nice and dry. So now we're going to tuck our rubber dam, and we can do that using the Clark Explorer, and we are going to use the Explorer in a U shape to tuck the dam under. So starting on the molar here, we can point it down in a U and tuck the dam under. We're going to do this on the buccal and the lingual of each tooth. So now we're going to talk about anterior rubber dams. If we're working on tooth number 6 through 11 or number 22 through 27, we don't use a rubber dam clamp. But sometimes with flossing behind the bicuspid, the dam will pop off and it won't stay flossed down. So we're going to show you what we do to fix that without having to use a clamp. So the doctor is going to come in and he's going to etch a small spot here towards the gingival on the bicuspid. And then you're going to rinse and dry. The next thing that he's going to do is come with some cold flowable and do a dot where you etch the tooth and then come over the dam slightly. Then we will light cure this spot. Now that that's cured, the dam won't come off the distal of the bicuspid. It'll stay down and you don't have to get the tooth numb for a rubber dam clamp. So now our rubber dam is complete, so we can disclose the tooth, blast it, and pre-wedge and get ready for the doctor.